I didn't shower today. But that's, you guys could have guessed that.
I'm gonna read. Is anybody else really high from the fumes from that screen that was down? Woo! Yeah, I know I didn't drink enough wine to feel as loopy as I do. Anyway, maybe it'll add to the performance. The first thing I'm going to read is from the book that's coming out this year called The Heart's Progress, which is about the adventures of an anthropomorphized heart. So that's my contribution to adventure. Yeah, all right. The heart bears the absence of your mark, but barely. It limps along, an unclaimed parcel, kept alive by licking condensation from the pipes underneath suburban homes and eating the corpses of kamikaze insects that lie fallen nightly in semicircles under porch lights. Is so much death really necessary to prop up the living? It seems excessive, even gloating, all this insect death. Feigning casualness, the heart glances in windows at night, portals to a sloshing world of ruby toasts over complicated salads. The heart knows valor is a too bright shade of lipstick it can never wear. It creeps away slowly, footfalls going squish, squish on the waterlogged lawn. It goes to the town football field, lies down on the 50-yard line, looks up at stars or the still traveling light from dead stars. There's no way of knowing which is which, just as there's no way of knowing from a person's eyes when you first meet them whether or not one day they will wish you were dead, or whether they will be the one to teach you what you need to know to be really, actually alive. Even though everything in the universe has already happened and we're just waiting to catch up to it. We mustn't look like we're waiting, though. We must look like we haven't a care in the world. The heart goes to 7-Eleven, gets a Red Bull, cracks it open in the parking lot. A creature worse off than itself rolls by with a shopping cart, dressed entirely in burlap sacks. The heart goes out to it, automatically, then retreats. A symbolic move, like genuflecting, the muscles contracting in place. The overloaded cart has a squeak in one of its wheels. Ree, it asks. From deep inside the burlap cave, an answering moan. Faint music from within the convenience store escapes in chilled puffs every time the door opens for another trucker, another cabbie. A bell festively jingles, announcing these customers to the night clerk stocking cups by the hot soup tureen. The heart's drink mumbles, gas bubbles softly colliding in an effervescent sea trapped in a can slightly larger than a D battery. In the quiet night, only these sounds, only these creatures pass each other without pleasure or fear. The heart is panting faster now. It scuttles along the highway, turns in circles like a dog flattening imaginary grasses, flatters itself with how far it's come from the days when it couldn't help but pound to Beethoven or catch at the sight of blood. Seeing lights in the distance, not wishing to be seen, running as if to outpace instinct, it makes for a clump of trees, a forest along the edge of a golf course. The line between wild and tame is a plucked string wavering before it breaks entirely. Under the canopy, silence drips from little jets. The heart wishes it were deaf to itself and could ride silence like an injunction. The heart gets a cheap motel room, hangs up the do not disturb sign, locks the door, turns off the lights, unplugs the phone, plugs it back in, calls information, gets the number for suicide prevention, doesn't dial it, unplugs the phone again, closes the blinds, ramps up the air conditioning, strips the sheets, takes a shower, lies dripping atop the stained mattress, staining it a little more, wills itself to stop beating, lies there for an hour, slowly rising and falling, succeeds in slowing its rate by a fraction of a second. At this rate, the heart will die in 1,000,000 years, or at the end of its natural lifespan, or at an unforeseen time of no one's choosing. It is clear the heart has no control over whether it lives or dies. This is a calming thought, the first in a while. The heart masturbates, then sleeps. So that's all from that little piece. It should be out sometime this year. The next thing that I need to do is a little wacky, and I need some audience participation. Oh, and I have a blindfold too. I find it very soothing as a performer to be blindfolded, especially because this is my sleep mask that smells like lavender. So nice. If anyone wants to sniff it, just to relax, let me know. I'll pass it around. So who's my first volunteer? Come on up. Oh, well, I pointed to her, but we'll chat and then we'll see. Hi, what's your name?
Carla.
Hi, Carla. I'm Sarah. Thank you. Nice to meet you. How hard are those boots?
Depends on your definition of hard. I think they're rather flexible.
Okay.
Should I be barefoot?
No,
Okay.
no. They're fantastic. Can I, Carla, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask you a personal question? Sure. Do you identify as a female spectrum person?
Yes.
Okay. I think I had another personal question to ask, but I don't remember it now. If I do, can I ask it later?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it might be good if the other volunteer was somebody from the male spectrum, but I'm open. I'm really open. So can I have a second volunteer? Okay, come on. Not to put anybody on the spot for gender or anything.
I'm male
like that.
spectrum, so it kind of works.
What's your name?
Colin.
Colin. Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you. These people are so brave. They volunteered. They have no idea what I'm going to ask them to do. Okay.
I probably did weird things on stage.
I'm sure. I just need you. I need to read these pieces, and they are in a different order. I have no idea what order they're in, but you're going to help me choose the order in which they get read by manipulating my body into position by kicking me across the stage.
Okay.
Do you think those shoes are good enough to kick me across the stage?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Okay.
sneakers.
Okay. So we haven't practiced this at all. These are just total volunteers, and I'm just trusting that they're good kickers. Okay. And the title of this piece is Adventures in Cruelty. So that's I put a lot of cruelty into them, and I feel that it's important to you get what you put out there. So, what?
I don't know how I feel about being cruel.
But I'm asking you.
It's a favor.
Just a
All
little
right.
bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit cruel. And so I don't know how this is going to work because the stage is really short, but if I am sort of hanging off the stage a little bit, and I can sort of roll. We're just gonna see if this works. And you're gonna have to get up on the stage and you're gonna have to like shuffle me. And I'm gonna try to like help you out by rolling with it.
Okay.
And then you're gonna just kind of stop me before one of these hearts. Okay. All right. Oh.
More?
All right.
That seems like a
Does
good.
that seem good? Okay.
Toward you. Toward your head. There you go. You're great.
Away from you.
Closer to the right.
Oh, I got one. I got one. I got one. All right, we're just going to start with this one. Oh. I learned how to fold these origami hearts today from some wedding website. We'll have to be able to read it. Oh, good, this one's really short, so you're going to get to kick me really soon. Cruelty to friends. I certainly know by now that I am my own worst enemy. And since you have chosen to ally yourself with me, that makes you my enemy too. All right.
30-minute struggle.
All right, Colin. Keep it. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
There you go.
Okay, reach.
Okay.
There you go.
This is so great, especially because I wore this dress that just is going to be around my waist by the end of the night. Cruelty to houseplants. We were smoking on the porch, and he said, "It seems like you are trying to kill that plant, but to its credit, it doesn't want to die." I said, "Why is it to its credit that it doesn't die when I wish it were dead so I could throw it away? It's as if it's thumbing its nose at me, its would-be killer." He touched the crumbling leaves, which were so abhorrent to me, and said, "For your sake, I hope it dies soon." Then he said, not at all gloating, but as if to comfort me, "In my room I have a plant that seems to require no water, no sunlight, seems to ask for nothing at all." We went into his room to look at the plant, a tall, thick profusion of snake green stalks. It did seem a noble thing, and I said, now that is a plant I could respect. A few weeks later, his plant did die, perhaps from mortification at being gazed at. My plant on the porch, however, continued to live in a wretched state for quite some time.
Humanity.
What do you think?
I think
More,
it's-
less?
Yeah, I think she's got one.
Okay. Really good kicking styles. Different, but equally good. Cruelty to animals. I am glad that fruit fly, who was being such a nuisance, has drowned. But did he have to drown in my wine glass?
Forward, back, toward yourself. To the right, back toward yourself. There you go.
It's a great
Oh,
directive.
I love it. I love it. You guys are great. Cruelty to women. A new girl was hired on at the co-op, and she was well endowed with dimples and young skin, and had a tendency at work parties to laugh mellifluously and to fall as if drunk into the waiting laps of male co-workers who already had girlfriends at home, or maybe even standing next to them. And we women of the co-op, who could no longer properly be called girls, hardened ourselves against her, as if she were a virus it was up to us to starve, since the men obviously weren't going to do it. Even when we found out she had a mother who was dying of various cancers in a cold and barren northern province, and was perhaps in dire secret need of the kindness of women, we found ourselves unable to be kind to her, though we had all more or less been her at one time or another, and were happy when she eventually began to look more pale, more tired, less pretty, less happy, more worn, more fearful, more like us. All right, let's go.
There you go.
I highly recommend this to anyone who likes to be kicked around. Cruelty to strangers. Just look at them, all the people we do not care to know. How stupid they look, going about their commute, driving ugly late model cars to boring jobs we have no desire to hear about. Inevitably, we end up next to one of them at a cocktail party, someone's cousin or coworker. The worst thing about them is not how boring they are, but how they make us, who had hoped to be so interesting, seem boring too.
There you go, right by your hand. There you go.
Read this one.
Can we do this all night long, even when I'm done? Okay. Cruelty to cashiers. A genuine smile is not hard to keep going, while a false one tires the cheeks. If one customer treats me with extraordinary kindness, I may treat the next several customers with extraordinary kindness. If then a customer treats me with callous indifference, my next few interactions may be saddled by sadness and a strained politeness, a reminder that the evolutionary origins of the smile suggest it developed not to show joy, but submission. If later a customer calls me incompetent or a bitch, even if he is a crazy person I've done nothing to offend, I may later, without even noticing, destroy several small villages with my tail. At this point, the smile is a liability, but I cannot lose it. It is carved into my face like a medieval punishment. If another customer catches me in a gross, mortifying error and shakes her head softly at my apology, as if this has been going on for quite some time and she has given me this one last chance which I have blown, I may feel myself shrinking until I can no longer reach the buttons of the cash register, until my voice can no longer be heard over the beeps and whistles of ordinary commerce, and wish that there were some way my mother could take over for me.
Sorry, slow moving.
There you go.
All right, turn it. Just down a
There you
little.
go.
Yeah.
This might be the last one. Oh, because it's the last one, should we step it up a notch?
Absolutely.
Sure. Whatever you
How do you feel about slapping me?
No, don't do it.
I know. How do you feel about slapping me?
If you're okay with it.
How do you feel about saying mean things to me?
I'm sort of a passive person when it comes to people I tend to like. What would you whatever you would like me to do, if it would make you feel happy. So
Alright.
I'll make you feel good.
We'll start out with you and then we can.
All right.
So, come closer. Okay. Does my hair look fucked up?
Totally fucked up, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? So like that was totally horizontal. Can't you look in the mirror or something? Like, look, that's curled underneath.
I'm not prepared. I'm
Clearly.
sorry.
Wrong dress.
Yeah,
for this whole role.
Right, yeah, that's it, like the rolly, and it's totally like straight, and yeah, I don't know what you were thinking.
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, made it.
I smell bad too, don't I? Yeah. Yeah. Just. Sorry.
Go talk to him, I don't know, what to do.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Hey.
I'm not skilled at this, but I'll do my best. But, you seem to deserve it.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
get it.
definitely.
Oh, that's
Good.
That's good.
Okay. Whew, that's good. I really deserved that. Cruelty to men. It seems cruel not to break up with a man she does not love. And it seems cruel to break up with him over the telephone without looking at his face. But it seems even crueler to keep their date and ride out to the cliffs with the dogs they are each dog sitting for, and then break up with him there at the cool edge of the earth with the dogs looking up at them confusedly. She must do it now on the phone when her resolve is firm, and do it once sharply like a jab with a sword. A few days later, it seems cruel not to answer the phone when he wishes to talk, just as it seems like a cruelty to herself not to consider her whole range of feelings, including the possibility that she does love him and is just afraid of true intimacy, as has been suggested in the past. It seems cruel not to go see him in person. Their bodies feel good together when they hug in his tiny kitchen, and he is softened in his anger. Just the fact of her coming to see him is enough to soften his anger. And she has softened in her resolve not to be with him. Whereas on the phone, he said he could never trust her again. Now he says he will be with her if this is what she wants. Has he already forgotten her cruelty, or is he capable of forgiving it so soon? And does this make him stupid, or extraordinarily good? It does not seem cruel to lie in his bed with him, spooning, when they are too tired to continue the conversation. It does not seem cruel in the morning when, after some coaxing and a cup of coffee, she lets him give her head and then climbs on top of him, and they fuck like a pair of happy scissors, trimming away the past few days, forgetting it may lead to more cruelty in the future. Thank you.